how are you guys doing today? Looking forward to the gig?
We're actually really impressed that there's sun in London. I think it's the first day they've had sun in 2011, and it's it's only late April. So.
No, you're just lucky actually. Yeah, because for April it's pretty sunny. We're gonna be hit with a heat wave, and I think you're here for the whole week.
Yeah,
So,
this whole week's gonna be a heat wave.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
22 degrees. I mean Celsius.
Yeah,
and that's pretty hot for us.
73 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's not.
But yeah, because I think tonight's gig is especially for your fanatic fans.
Yeah.
That bought tickets for all of your other gigs in London.
That's right.
What are you expecting? I would be worried.
We've probably met all of them at one point or another. A lot of our fanatic fans have, sort of been with us when we were playing all the venues that we're actually playing on the Origins tour right now. The whole concept was to do all the venues that we played as we progressively got bigger. And so anybody who was at our first sort of Dublin Castle shows, the first gigs we played in London, is probably going to be here tonight, and it's probably going to be almost all familiar faces.
It's kind of like, that's sort of the core of it for us, because our whole band is kind of like, it's been a word of mouth thing for so long. And especially in the UK, because we never had a label here before. So this is our first actual release with a label. We were just self-released here before, and what would happen was a certain number of people would come to a show, and then they would tell their friends the next time we played, they'd come, and then their friends would come. And it's all just been almost, it's kind of haphazard, like word of mouth kind of thing that's sort of built. And so it's, those fans are, they're kind of the core of the whole thing.
Yeah, you've done a few tours in the UK since your first album. Obviously.
7, I think.
7?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that's a lot in 3 years.
Yeah, we did 70 shows in the UK before we had a record out.
That's
We played
I
in
think
42 different cities, towns, birds, roadside stops.
Truck stops.
But you are mainly famous for being a live band.
Yeah, well, I think we have a reputation for being a live
Yeah.
band.
So I think it's a good thing then that you're doing a lot of gigs.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, because I know the first album was capturing your life essence, because it was mainly a live album.
Yeah.
So the new album, how does it? Is it different from your first album? Because I think you took time to record it. Obviously, 3 years to put out a new album. It's different in any way?
The recording process was a whole lot different, and that was by design and by having just more resources at our disposal. When we did our first record, Darren, our drummer, and myself, and the rest of us still had day jobs and things like that, and we would record a track while Darren was on his lunch break. He would come in and the drums would be set up, and he would sit down and play the drums and record. Wherein on this record we were fortunate enough to get to work with a producer named Dave Sardi, who's known for doing LCD Sound System, some Oasis records, Band of Horses. He's done a lot of stuff, and he's got a real ear and feel for a song and what really hits you as a song. So we actually spent a lot of time playing, I think we played 30 songs for him or something like that. I don't know. We played a bunch of songs for him in a rehearsal studio, went over and over, again and again and again, and just sort of worked to figure out what was really popping for us, and
But at the end of the day, all this procedural stuff is just kind of bullshit. It's either a song or you're done. Who cares? I mean, you could tell me, the wall was made in a day or it was made in a year, and I don't care. I just like the songs. You know what I mean? So it's the same thing with this record, and I think, the Bombastic series is a good example of how I think the songs that we chose were the ones that they meant the most to us, and when we were and there's a certain turn of phrase. It's not just pride of authorship, but there's a certain turn of phrase or a certain arrangement or a certain melody that grabs you, and you're just like, that's awesome. and you feel it yourself, and you just want to be in the band that sings that line or plays that piece of music. And you're just like, I want to be in the band that does that. And every song on this record was one way or another are living out like the dream of the band that we want to be.
So how does that happen to you? Because I think you mentioned you don't do any jamming.
No.
So how does it happen to you? What's your writing process?
Well, it's one of two things. It's either me like sitting there and trying to make a demo, a huge thing, with like, well, it usually starts on an acoustic guitar.
Tortured and alone in a room, in a bus or a hotel room.
Always tortured.
Somewhere.
I like music, man. It's fun.
That would be a start for the job.
Yeah, I guess that's step one. But so there's that, and then just bring it to all these monkeys, and then we take it apart and put it back together, and we sort of try and figure out the way to make the song come to life. Or me and this Joker, he'll write a whole soundscape, and 3 of the songs on the record came from just soundscapes that he wrote, which was had all the parts already worked out, every little bit of it. So when you hear it, and you're like, "Ooh, the song is starting." But then like, there wouldn't be a song. And he'd sort of leave that for me to do, and then we collaborate on the final product. That part's really gratifying. I don't think either one of us would have ever guessed when we met that we'd end up being writing partners, right?
Or just
or even liking each other.
Yeah, or even just like
Why is that?
No, it's just like the ideas you get from people. It's just like you have in your own minds, like what the way you think things should go, and then when the second somebody like is like, hey, do this way, and it like works out and it's great. Then it's just kind of it's really exciting to work with somebody like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're working on something, and then like there's something, and it just fit, and it's like something I would have never thought of, and I was like, hey, why don't you do this? And then he'll do a thing, and we're like, and it just feels like found money, you know? Just, that's fucking awesome. That's great. Let's do that. Let's do that. What you just did. And then he'll want to do it 4 times faster.
Or
and I'm like, no, just do it again.
Let's do it that way.
Do it this way. No, we'll make the whole song this one. No, just do this one thing.
And then with the other process, especially when Mikkel brings the song to the band, it's not like a hey, I wrote a song this morning. It's not like here's this thing I just stumbled upon. Hey everybody, play this that I was singing in the car. It's like a thought out piece of music that usually has like a narrative arc, a sort of song structure arc, and the job of everybody else in the band is to where it needs other pieces, where it needs.
Well, and also just to take it apart again, and then everyone and put it back together, and we'll try and play different styles, and then at the end of the day, forget everything we did and just what makes the hair on the back of your neck stand.
Yeah.
And then you could spend a month on a song. We've had some songs like that, Daisy Line Poses, where we tried it 5 different ways, and just when it was done, we were all like, it's just not killing it for me.
Yeah.
And we had to like, there's an expression in writing, murder your darlings, where, and this is a part of authorship thing, where like you've made something and then you just, as much as you've crafted it and you love it, you just have to fucking kill it, and because it doesn't fit with the whole, like there's a bunch of songs that Daisy Line Poses being the most
being one of them.
That ending is still awesome. I still love that awesome, but the rest of the songs is not good.
And we played songs like that. We played it. We rehearsed them. We played it live a couple times. Yeah, we played. There's songs that we played for most of the last tour.
We promised our fans we would put this song called "This Losing" on this record, and because it was a fan favorite, and we didn't.
Isn't
at the end of the day, it just didn't.
Isn't your single though an old track as well, Numb?
Well, Numb is no, we hadn't been playing that live. Yeah, that was a track that was written a long time ago, though.
Pieces of it were from a long time ago.
Yeah,
you didn't do the lyrics.
Written for like a year and a half.
You didn't do the lyrics that are now the lyrics until.
I still prefer the demo of that. It's awesome. It's such a good demo. It's a little slower and it's higher. And the end, I'm just like screaming, and the vocals are kind of buried and distorted, and it's just like. It's fucking. I still like that.
The laptop demo.
Yeah, Sardi wanted it to be like. And I wanted it to be like noise,
Yeah. It changed a little bit.
Yeah, well, we fought, you know,
Yeah.
and then I was like, all right, I see what you mean. It's clear this way.
Yeah. But there's definitely that in your tracks where it does change. There's such a clear variation sometimes where you just cut the track
Yeah.
and then it becomes something completely different.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
partly makes your music that appealing, obviously. You know, all
Yeah,
of a
Well,
sudden.
people get so mad at us for doing that too. They get so mad at us. It's unbelievable.
Well, not our fans.
Not our fans, but people who they want.
Structure.
Some people want something to be clearly packaged. You know?
One stroke.
Oh, that was the stroke.
They want
I love the stroke.
I love the strokes too.
It's like, but some people want it to be. They want their music to be in some kind of clear plastic wrapper where you can see exactly whatever it is that's inside, and then there's no surprises when you open it. And it's just that's not how we really operate.
I think it's the nature of being an iconoclast, is that people don't have a name for what you are. And I think for some people, a certain type of person it's very exciting, and for another type of person it's very threatening. And it's almost like you can tell a lot about a person by the way that they respond to something that's iconoclastic. And I think we make songs and then records as a sort of operating alternative, modern, indie, whatever you want to call it, rock band. And just like we think about it, I think very iconoclastically. Like we sort of know the game, we just don't care. Like I know you're supposed to choose a guitar effect and then a look, and you're supposed to market yourself as like, okay, now we're a guitar band. Okay, now we're doing electronic. Okay, now we have classical with a folk songwriting element. Okay, now, and it's just like, I just don't care. I just don't care. And if I were to tell you what was really driving it, it would probably sound pretentious as hell, but but it would have nothing to do with anything you'd like read in some fucking magazine. Just like, these things are not what music is about, and I don't think, we have a lot of musicians that are fans of our band, and they tell us on the road or when we play festivals that they play our record at the bus or that they're really excited, whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a huge divide, I think, between that perception and then sort of like the perception that you either are or aren't the Libertines. You either are or aren't the Arcade Fire, you either are or aren't LCD Sound System, you either are or aren't, you know, and it's just horseshit. And also none of them think that way. They've got ideas driving what they're doing, which is why they're artists. And they have the same frustrations as you do. Of course.
Everybody does, I think. So tell me about the single then. I know you wrote it about, I think, a festival?
Yeah, I wrote the lyrics during Reading and Leeds. And we were staying on this bus in a field. Remember, like, behind the tent, so we played in this.
It was our first big summer festival season, and we weren't totally used to how the whole thing goes, where you're in the band, you play your show, you hang out, everybody's drunk, like the bus leaves at some point in the early morning or late at night.
Somebody makes out with someone.
Yeah.
You know, you got like
Standard,
French fry breath.
Foaming a little bit.
Yeah, beer, your feet are dirty. Like,
somebody passed out under the bus, and you know, somebody, like, it's a whole,
And then you wake up the next day, and at 11 o'clock in the morning, you hear
Sound check.
from
it's like
10
feet away,
and all these other places, and you walk out of the bus, and there's all these other tour buses and tents, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I?
So like the Numb is about that feeling of, you ever feel like you're alone in a crowd, like you can be around 1,000 people, and you're sort of like monologuing in your own head and sort of dealing with your own kind of stream of consciousness thoughts. That's sort of what Numb was about, was walking around Reading and Leeds and just like completely disoriented, like, where am I? I haven't slept in like a year, and we're walking around all this stuff, and oh look, Kings of Leon's on this stage, Montreal's playing in our tent, okay. And like just completely lost and like totally disoriented. There was a lot of that feeling.
Yeah, Glastonbury definitely feels like that. Big crowd.
The fires and everything.
Lost. Trying to work out where you camped.
Very.
Coachella's like that, the States, all of the is like that.
Yeah.
And I read that your album, this one, is a little bit more political than the first one. How is that? Which tracks do you think are more
while
political?
we were on break,
and in what way?
Yeah, well, so when we were on break, we did this project with Amnesty International about Neda Agat Sultan. You know, she was the woman who was killed in Iran during the Green Movement, during the disputed elections in 2009. So we wrote a song about her, which was a Noah Mikhail jam, called Neda. was just a cool thing to be a part of. And we put the single out, put all the proceeds to Amnesty International. We played a benefit show, made a whole website where people and we had this worldwide thing with people, and it was like this really emotional time because it was women's death, which was very tragic. And that was our first foray into politics. And then on the new record, there's a song called "The Kids Are Ready to Die," which is probably the most controversial song. And then "Welcome to Your Wedding Day," which you would think would be the more controversial of the two. Because "Welcome to Your Wedding Day" is about American predator drone bombing an Afghan wedding. Like, it's straight up fucking loud-ass rock song.
That's a direct indictment of like military practices in the future and indiscriminate killing and all that.
And like the ridiculous idea that you can win hearts and minds through war, which is stupid.
Yeah, but the one that everybody's really upset about is Mikhail. Most of the song is just Mikhail playing guitar and singing.
Maybe that's why there's less to focus on, like all the bells and whistles.
I don't know, but they like for some reason everybody's upset with Mikhail talking about the sort of, would you call it hypocrisy of involving young people in conflict?
It's manipulative and it's opportunistic. It's a song that's very much about the level of disrespect you have to have for someone's life to send them to die for something that you know isn't true. And the United States did that at the beginning of this decade. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of reasons outside the US to be pissed off at the actions of the US government, but on the inside, if people that you know died for a lie, mm-hmm. and the people that sent them, they fucking knew they were lying. And to the extent to which you have to just not care about human life to send somebody to die for a lie. And it's all these well-intentioned kids, you know, it's mostly young people. It's 18-year-olds that, you know, can't get it together, and so they join the army because it's like the only thing they got. And the decision is either because they didn't go to college and they want to make something in their life, or it's because they're like, fuck man, I need some structure or something, so I'm going to the army. Mm. And then in a lot of cases too, it's the sense of duty and the sense of wanting to defend your country, which are all, for different reasons, are actually good choices, you know. And so your reward for these good choices is to be sent to die for something that your government knows isn't true.
Did you ever consider it?
With the army? No. I'm extremely patriotic though. Like, I mean, and you know, as much as we criticize the U.S. government, I think the ideas that America was founded on or has struggled with, I mean, I could talk for days about how I believe in those ideas. But that's not what this song is about.
And we meet servicemen all the time, constantly. And they get that song the most. They get Kids Are Ready to Die almost more than anybody else.
I was worried that they wouldn't understand what we're saying. And they're like, and they'll tell me, like, they're like, that song really, like, they're really, like, psyched about that.
Yeah, we just had two guys in Germany be like, you know, I don't think
they're on break from Iraq and they followed our tour.
Yeah.
And they were just like, and they were just really, really psyched.
They're super into it, and we're like, I don't think that there needs to be any, like, in their minds, there needs to be no explanation for writing a political song like that. And those are the guys who are.
And it's in their day-to-day reality. It's not like they don't, like those guys don't know that the Bush administration lied, or that to some extent Obama doesn't really have an exit strategy in Afghanistan. They know. They're living it every day.
Yeah.
They already signed the fucking paperwork. And they know they signed up for one tour of duty or for a possible tour of duty in the National Guard, and they've been in Iraq for 8 years. You don't have to tell them that. They fucking know. They live it.
Yeah.
They know at 12 months they're like, all right, my time's getting close up, and they're saying, it's 14 months now, and it's 16 months.
So the idea is that, you know, the same anger that you have, that I had, that rebellious kind of anger you have as a kid, where you're just like, fuck everybody. Because I was at a point in my life, I was like, fuck everybody. That there's some of that sense of desire to destroy and that sense of anger. I think it's wrapped up into nationalism, and that's how you win wars. So you send the young kids out to that. And but that's also, and all this predated everything that's happening in the Middle East right now. Because the final sort of stanza of the song is that'll turn on the oppressors at some point. If you lie to people, you can only lie for so long. Like, lies have a half-life, and eventually the truth comes out, and that anger gets turned on the people that send the war. And you know, I think about the Middle East, and I think about what's so great about what's happening now in the Middle East. It has nothing to do with America, and it has nothing to do with radical Islam. These people are pissed off that the government is stealing from them, and like,
And has been for 30-something years.
And
we're lying about it the entire time.
killing their friends and torturing them and keeping them, and that's where it comes from, and that's when you're like, democracy, it's like that, and so I just, so I think that song somehow just struck a nerve, and it's cool to have something like that on the record, I guess.
I think you
Like,
have.
like a proper fucking artist,
Yeah.
instead of just songs about my ex-girlfriend. I mean, I want to talk about my ex-girlfriend all day long. I got 50 you haven't heard.
I guess it's usually the easiest inspiration, isn't it?
I don't know if it's easiest because I think it's actually.
But that's not what
it's
most
hard.
songs are about, aren't
Yeah,
they?
well,
Breakups or falling in love
Most of
or something.
what you think about is a human being now too. Like,
Yeah.
your day-to-day life is spent inside your head, and your big joke on the world is you think you're the only one. It's everywhere.
Yeah, of course. Well, our own planet, aren't we?
Well, no, we're all the
Thinking
same
that
planet.
everyone else is revolving
Everyone
around
thinks the big
us.
secret on the world is that only they have a big secret, and everyone's walking around.
And they're the only ones who are misunderstood and need to be loved and need to.
And everyone's mortified
Yeah.
about shit that they've done, and they're terrified that people might find out about things that they felt. And every single person has that, and they think they have this huge secret, and the cat's out of the bag.
I can't relate at all. So obviously you've toured here a lot. You've toured with a lot of English bands. Are there any English bands at the moment that you really feel fond of, think are quite good?
I think those Radiohead boys are going to do well.
Really?
They seem to be onto a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's funny, British music, especially British rock music, can be so unifying and then so divisive all the time. It's like a sports team out here.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be like, and especially now, like you have to pick a side of one of the fucking Gallagher brothers, like because they're split up and now
They're split up.
yeah, like one guy's doing
I can't handle all this back and forth.
BDI, and then just like so, like siding with some British music is just like such a big thing.
Hey.
Oh,
Hello.
Bill told me to inform you when you guys are ready.
Okay, we'll be up in a minute.
Yeah, well,
Thanks, Punch.
The beard looks really good today.
So good, so real. That's our
I think I'm
stage
pregnant.
manager, tech, F. Scott Punchgerald.
And Punchy Villa.
Punchgerald.
Or Punchy Villa.
Punchy Villa.
cool. Well, I'm gonna let you
Punch
two.
over here.
Punch over here.
Thank you very much for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Very